You have such a fucking radio voice, Chris. I'm jealous.
Can you just talk more? I want to listen.
I do. I'd listen. I'd listen to you just for funsies.
That motherfucker could read the phone book and I'd listen. Pauper to the People is brought to you by MTG Madness. You can visit them online at mtgmadness.com.
This is Pauper to the People. I am Nate. With me is Peter.
Hello.
Chris version 2.
Hello again.
And special guest Chris version 1.
Hi.
So how's everyone doing tonight?
Not bad. Slightly annoyed that we need to redo this whole introduction because if you listen to your flowery little ringtone.
Quiet, Peter.
Nope.
How you doing, Chris?
Most excellent.
Doing pretty well.
That's good.
Apparently I don't know how to quit this show.
Apparently. I started doing F&M again at our new store here in St. Cloud.
How'd that go?
Actually enjoyable. I did a draft and I gave up top 4 to a beginner.
Wow, you suck.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. She plays with a lot of competitive players, so she's just kind of learning the game yet, and she doesn't really understand some of the stuff yet. She's just still learning. And we had an instance in the first game where she had my stuff locked down. We were drafting M14. She had my stuff locked down, and all she needed to do was swing in with her 2/1/1s to win. But she wanted to go and lock my creatures down again, and it would only dealt me 1 damage, and would give me more time to win. So I pretty much, I told her, I'm like, just stop. Just, I showed her what the situation was, and I'm like, take that back and just swing with both creatures. And I'm like, trust me, don't worry about it. And she's like, okay. I'm like, okay, next game. And then I played her the second game and won that one. And then the third game went to the bitter end, and she won me straight. She beat me straight up. So
Oh, you're nice. You're nice. I'm cutthroat in real life Magic.
well, I guess it just comes from my I used to be a competitive player, but I since quit being competitive about playing, and it's more for me just casual now. And I guess I have a tendency to play with lots of younger players and teaching them the game and stuff. So every time I come across a beginner like that, I have a tendency to just slow down play and kind of help them out. So, which for me it really didn't matter anyway. My pulls for the draft that night were really, really good. My first pull was a foil mythic rare. That's like $17. The foil mythic demon, the shadow something demon. It's like a 5-drop.
Yeah, Shadowborn Demon. That
Yeah.
guy's really good. That guy's actually really good in Limited, too.
Yeah, I pulled a foil one. Second pack I opened was a mythic red dragon. The one that...
Scourge of Volkos?
Yep, Scourge of Volka, yeah. I pulled that. And then my third pack I pulled was a Colonian Behemoth.
Colonian Hydra?
Or, yeah, Colonian Hydra, sorry. Yeah, Colonian Hydra. So, it really didn't bug me all that much to, not make top 4.
With those pulls, it should have bugged you.
No, not really. I drafted a Rakdos deck that was pretty good. It's just, I really wasn't really too concerned about it. I'm just getting back into the swing of things and wanted to start drafting and all that stuff, and it doesn't bug me that much. It was a lot of fun, though. I had a lot of fun that night.
One of the things that Magic Online has taught me is to become much, much better than the real-life scene. So every time I go to a pre-release, I just crush it. I will, top 4 out of 70 people in a pre-release every single time. And I've done it for Return to Ravnica, Gate Crash, Dragon's Maze, and most recently M14.
Yeah.
So I have all these real-life cards that I'm never going to use because I only play Magic Online.
Yeah.
But I have, I don't know, 50 or 60 packs worth of cards.
Yeah, jeez. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess for me, it's just, I just like drafting and, you know, like next time around when I play, if I play her again, I'll probably, you know, play more cutthroat against her. But shit, I figured I'd just put it out there and help her out a little bit. No big deal. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Other than that, what else? We had our EDH league. We started our EDH league at Sneak Attack Games, which that was a lot of fun. Other than that, I worked all weekend. But I have
Cool.
an insanely big, lots of time off this week. I work one day all week, so I'm fine with that.
Nice.
So,
You schmuck.
hey, I worked all but one day last week, so I worked a 6-day week. So,
And you expect me to feel sympathetic for you?
well, I know my job at the hotel is really freaking easy, so.
Exactly.
But yeah, so other than that, getting ready to do the Gathering tournament on Tuesday night, and I'm going to be streaming it, and I'm set to stream.
Do you actually have
So-
everything set up properly so you don't realize halfway through your streaming that you're not actually streaming?
Yep, everything's set
Okay.
properly. We're good. So
Dude.
I'm going to be doing playing Mono Black Belts' Mono Black Rats deck in the Gathering Classic Tuesdays event. So if anyone wants to watch that, it'll be 10 o'clock Central Time.
Morning or evening?
PM, 10 p.m. So I'll be doing that, and I've already been bugged by somebody on MTGO Strat because saying that, hinting that they wanted a copy of it for MTGO Strat. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's about all I've been up to. But yeah, Pauper. We have big news. As a lot of people know, Temporal Fissure and Cloud Post come October 2nd. My birthday. That's an awesome birthday present. Temporal Fissure and Cloud Post are banned. No more annoying decks. So,
Well, that factor will never disappear, but
yeah.
2 of the big decks are going away.
Yep, 2 of the big decks are going away, and should be interesting to see what comes up out of that. So it's pretty mixed. There's a lot of people that don't like it. There's a lot of people that agree with it. So it's kind of 50-50.
What's the main argument for the people who dislike the banning?
That combo decks and control decks are gone. That's what I heard. I can quote some of the stuff I put on our. I posted the article on our Facebook page. We had some people commenting on it.
The biggest argument that I hear people complaining about is Cloud Post wasn't the problem, it was just Fissure.
Exactly. People are kind of angry because it takes away the big control deck from the format.
Yeah, what it just means is that you're going to have a more fair mana base that you have to adhere to for control decks.
Yeah.
Much.
So, you don't get the big mana strategy. You can't have a turn 3 Muldrifter anymore.
The interesting thing to be is mid-range decks disappeared from Pauper forever just because they couldn't compete with foes, so perhaps we'll get to see some of those come back.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Mono Black Rats might make a comeback in some shape or form.
Yeah,
I mean, the deck is good.
Say Mono Black Control makes a huge comeback here because
It's gonna be
they don't have
very-
to worry. They don't
You go
have to
first.
worry about a Fissure, or rather, they don't have to worry about Fissure anymore. So
Yeah. So yeah, I know for a fact my buddy James, owner of Sneak Attack Games, he's happy because he hates the one deck he despised playing his deck because he likes to play Mono Black Rats was Cloud Post. He despised that deck. He just really hated it. So, but I think that's pretty much the way everybody feels about Cloud Post. They just don't like the deck, period, because it's just a really, really good control deck, and they can just keep with Glimmer Post. It just makes it really, really difficult to do. There is noting in the article that the article was by Lauer or whatever. What's his name? Eric Lauer, is it? Yeah, Eric Lauer. He did note that they did similar bannings in Modern, and the people just went to they said the Urza lands turned out strong enough in the competitive modern format.
I think the problem though is we've kind of had this kind of discussion before where you need 3 pieces to make that mana engine start working.
Yeah.
And we don't have any real efficient ways of searching stuff out minus like Reef and So and Expedition Map are the only 2.
Yeah.
And even then, one of the strongest points of Cloudpost not only was it a mana engine was the fact that it could keep itself alive with Glimmer Post.
Yeah.
And so without that, I don't think the Urzatron decks are going to do nearly as well as people are predicting.
Yeah.
Yeah, reading that article, if it were me, I would have almost just left the, well, hey, Urzatron worked in Modern part of it out of the equation. Because we've seen the Urzatron deck, and it can work, but it just doesn't have the efficiency, and I think that some people might take that the wrong way. Not that that's, Magic players taking things the wrong way, God forbid. But, it's just like, I don't think you needed to say that.
Yeah. But, we'll see what happens. There's always that one brewer that will try everything to make something work, so... I mean, and that's part of and I think that's part of the Pauper format that attract a lot of people. The fact that they're depending on where the meta is, there's always somebody willing to try to think outside the box and make something work that a lot of people say shouldn't work.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
I think what's going to be interesting is the first few weeks after the banning takes place, or maybe even the first couple of months, where all these people who. And I've heard from some people, it's like, fine, I'm just going to go play Legacy because I can still play Storm there. Okay, fair enough. But for the people that do stick around with it, what do you think is going to be their go-to? Is it going to be, the Fairies deck? Is it going to be that Azorius Kitty deck that Magic Gathering Strat was telling me about? I mean, what do you think is going to be the one that kind of fills that gap right off the bat?
I think,
if anything,
Delver will right away, but... with the adding of mono black rats being able to be played again, one of the decks that Delver has a problem with is mono black rats. I mean, I've played mono black rats against a Delver deck, and if you get your discard cards out, I mean, you can really take a Delver player to school and crush them.
Mono black control is always going to be really hard, especially if they side in Kumbai Witches.
Yeah.
Because those cards just almost single-handedly beat Delver, and you combine that with, a horde of removal spells, then Delver's a really tough time keeping up with the 2-for-1s of mono black control after that.
Yeah.
So you think Delver's going to fill the void, but with Fissure gone, a lot of unplayable decks become playable. Things
White
like
Weenie comes back.
Yeah, like White Weenie comes back, Trinket Control comes back, Azorius Kitty is playable, and a lot of these like mid-rangey type control decks are really tough matchups for Delver.
Yeah.
So
you might see someone pull out Dead Dogs again, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's highly possible.
It's like, don't get me wrong though. I mean, Delver always has these draws that you just can't beat, but for the most part, these Affinity and Stompy are going to take probably my guess is those 2 decks are going to take the number 2 place, and Delver has really tough times with Affinity and Stompy.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned Dead Dog. That holds a special place in my heart. I love Dead Dog. Deck is so much fun to play.
I think that's a good point. I think realistically, you're going to start to see the decks that are people's kind of favorites that they just haven't been able to play because of Fissure and because of Post.
Yeah.
Your mono black controls, your, people going back to maybe playing Stompy or playing Affinity at a greater rate. So it's always really interesting before everything starts to settle again, just to try and see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, so if any of you listeners out there have anything you want to say about Temporal Fissure and Cloudpost being banned, which I'm sure a lot of you have a lot to say, light up the boards on the forums and our Facebook page, and see where it goes from there.
Yep.
Might even have a Heroes of the Web out of it.
The day we pull a Heroes of the Web from our own forums is the day I cry.
I just think it's really interesting that when I started the show, the ban list was cranial plating, and it's come a long way. And I'm sure there are going to be people who would argue that that's a bad thing, that it should still just be cranial plating. But it's really just interesting to see that this ban list has effectively quadrupled in size since then, at least. I mean, it's just kind of a... I think it shows not only the increase in popularity of the format, but just the fact that whether it's... I mean, if you follow on Twitter, you follow Alex Allman a lot, and he's really kind of been... and a bunch of other people as well, but it seems like he's always the one who's kind of on MTGO's case and Wizards of the Coast's case about, hey, people are talking about this, this is something you should consider. And today when it happened, he was actually like, on behalf of the Pauper community, thank you. So it's just kind of really interesting to see not only are people coming to the format, but it seems like Wizards is listening, at least a little bit. If not necessarily in the fact that, new commons that can combat some of the problems we have, which, there are reasons for that, specifically limited, but them still trying to work within the boundaries they set for themselves to at least try and make it a format that isn't utterly, dominated or stagnant.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that, when with Temporal Fissure and Cloud Post around, look how many Brew of the Months we did where you just ignored Classic altogether because there was really no point.
Yeah.
To try to do anything because the meta was so locked into those two decks that what's the point of even trying to think outside the box, because it Temporal Fissure and Cloud Post just are so successful over everything in the field that's on the field anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But hey, speaking of standard Pauper.
Yes.
We got an influx of cards coming in.
Yes, we do. Theros set review. If you want to follow us along, Gathering Magic does have everything up to date. I looked; they have everything up to date, so all the cards are there, so you can filter through that. We're just going to follow the color wheel, and we're going to start with white, and we're going to put it over to Chris. Chris, version 1. It's easier.
Start calling me obsolete Chris or something, because I feel like I don't like the fact that the regular host is kind of being called the 2.0 of it.
I'm the upgrade.
I feel like he should... Yeah, okay, well, if we keep it in that regard, it's good. So up first is Battle-Wise Valor. It's a white and a colorless instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Scry 1. We're going to be talking Scry a lot, I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's your card. I'll let you talk first.
Oh, wow.
The answer is no.
Exactly.
Yeah, limited.
I'm trying to be the optimist.
It's a limited card, and it's not even a good limited card. It's a 2-mana combat trick. And
Yeah.
2-mana combat tricks generally suck.
But it replaces itself. Okay.
It doesn't, though. It just lets you see the top.
All right, Cavalry Pegasus, white and a colorless for a 1/1 Pegasus, flying. Whenever Cavalry Pegasus attacks, each attacking human gains flying until end of turn. We've talked about this one before. It's
White Weenie gets worse.
It's a trap.
It gets blown away.
Yeah. This is true.
Yep. So next is Chosen by Heliod, white and a colorless for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When Chosen by Heliod enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2. Limited fodder, in my opinion.
It could be playing standard Pauper.
Yeah, just because the draw.
Even then, it's hard to say. If anything, it's gonna fit. It's not gonna fit in the Junk Enchantments deck or whatever the enchantment deck's gonna turn into. I think it's gonna turn to add blue to it now because I think they replaced another hexproof creature. But White Wing's gonna be where it's gonna see play if it sees any play at all. I don't think of anywhere else for it.
Yeah.
No, dog, put it on your Sentinel Sliver.
Yeah. It becomes really hard to block then.
Yep. Divine Verdict, white and 3 colorless for an instant, destroy target attacking or blocking creature.
And we thought we were finally getting rid of the damn thing, and standard Pauper comes right back.
It's back. It's back.
Yay! So if you
It
didn't
always
get
will be.
so if you did get your Divine Verdict in the other sets,
There's a reason why we replaced him in the last Brew of the Month for the blue-white one at least.
yeah,
It's just a really slow, inefficient way of getting rid of a creature.
Yeah, it is.
So, Afara's Warden, white and 3 colorless for a human cleric. You can tap it to tap target creature with power 3 or less.
No.
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 Mm-mm.
No. Especially by the time you would be playing it on turn 4.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alright, God's Willing. Single white for an instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Scry 1. I guess kind of a Apostle's Blessing alternative, but
Apostles is better.
So the Apostle's Blessing saw play in Standard for a while, so at least Lieutenant Pauper, perhaps this will come back too.
yeah, it won't take the place of Apostle's Blessing in Classic because you're willing to sacrifice the 2 life to pay the Phyrexian mana cost.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's actually really good because if playing Stompy has taught me anything, is that Vines of Vastwood, I'm often using it just to prevent them from targeting my dude.
Exactly.
So I think this is better than it looks.
Okay.
So you splash white in your green Stompy for this?
No, I'm just saying as a general rule for
Yeah.
like
White
weenie
Mini
type
Selesnya Beast could still make use of it, though.
Yeah, once you start thinking outside of the box with stuff like Vines of Vastwood, it really does. You know, when 9 times out of 10 you're playing it with the kicker cost, you kind of forget you can play it for 1, and it can come in handy.
Yeah, I say 9 times out of 10 I'm using Vines of Vastwood to counter their snap or something like that in Classic Pauper. I mean, I think this is more like a standard Pauper card, but
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Hopeful Eidolon, which is a single white for a 1/1 enchantment creature, Spirit. Bestow for a white and 3 colorless, lifelink. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink. And I'm blanking. What was the bestow mechanic?
It becomes when you pay the bestow cost, the creature becomes an enchant creature, and when the creature that it's enchanting dies, it becomes a creature itself.
So you play the Bestow, it's an aura. When the creature that dies, the aura turns into a creature itself, so you don't get exactly 2 for 1 if you play the Bestow cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually you don't. If you pay the bestow cost, you don't get any chance of getting 2 for 1 because if they kill your creature in response, then you still get your
creature
Eidolon creature back.
Yeah.
So they can't kill your creature in response and make your hopeful Eidolon fizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a 1/1 lifelink for 1 is decent.
Yeah.
And where it becomes tricky is I'm trying to think of giving a creature you have +1/+1 and lifelink for 4. And that seems really underwhelming. It seems underwhelming even at white and 2 colorless if you were to try and find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
A lot of the Bestow stuff, especially at the common level,
is
expensive. And so for the most part, you're just going to be playing them as creatures and not really the Bestow. It's a nice late game thing if you have the mana, but it's never going to be your central plan is to play them as a Bestow card.
Yeah.
Golly, it's almost like Scavenge all over again.
Kinda.
Well, where this
black, green. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'll say where this becomes useful is in the in hexproof decks.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does 2 things in hexproof. 1, it provides you with a desired effect, which is lifelink, and then 2, it's also an extra creature, so you don't get blown out by Devour Flesh or Diabolic Edict or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's doubly functional, and that's what you're paying for when you have to pay for the bestow cost.
That, and if you really think about it too, if you want to not splash black in your Drunken Champions deck and go Bant, this takes the place of Vampiric, what was it?
Mark of the Vampire?
Thank you.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to keep it to white and not have to splash black for that, you can still have your lifelink card.
That's actually a pretty good observation. I didn't even think of that. That's actually not a bad call because I mean that's really in that enchantments deck that you're really only playing black for the Mark of the Vampire and
a few removal spells, but
yeah, you could actually do that and just go hexproof Selesnya.
Well, you'd probably be splashing blue too, because I think blue has because we lost 1 green creature.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. I think blue gave us a new one at least. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll talk about the blue one.
Up next is Lagana Band Elder. White and 2 colorless for a Centaur Advisor. 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, if you control an enchantment, you gain 3 life.
So it's like Centaur Healer.
It's a Centaur Healer. Yeah.
But mono
Centaur healer, but it dies to shock.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
And it's conditional life gain with you have to control an enchantment. Which how often are you controlling an enchantment before turn 3?
Not really.
I see this in the limited deck you would want to draft with it as a late pick.
Yeah.
But I don't really see it in Pauper.
Yeah.
So, Last Breath is a white and a colorless for instant. Exile target creature with power 2 or less. Its controller gains 4 life. I mean, you got something with a big butt that you want to get out of the way, but it seems way too conditional to be an effective choice, I think.
Yeah, you don't
It's
want to
not
give your
bad against the aggro deck so much. 4 life's not hard, especially if you're playing the control deck. But yeah, it might be a sideboard for control decks to bring in against the aggro decks. But I still think Celestial Purge is probably just the better choice to go.
Yeah. Kind of bad.
Leonin Snarecaster. White and a colorless for a cat soldier. 2/1. When Leonin Snarecaster enters the battlefield, you may tap target creature.
I like it.
I don't think this has a home. Azorius Arrestor is just straight up better.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it definitely doesn't have a home in Classic either. I mean, it's not going to have a home. Yeah, it's
In standard,
a neat concept, but there's no room for it.
Yeah. Saying in standard Pauper, you've got the Azorius Arrestor, so no need for this guy.
I kind of see this being a card that someone might try utilizing, because when I see that Leonin Snarecaster, the first thing that comes to mind for me is I play a Snarecaster and tap something, but you play that White Denizen and play this guy, and you can virtually get 2 taps on one spell, and then on top of that, you could always go next turn and play that Core Skyfisher and bring this guy back and do it again. But yeah, it's a lot of mana to pull off. But
You're talking relevance to standard or classic Pauper, because there is no Core Skyfisher in standard Pauper.
well, classic Pauper, if someone were to try that. But yeah, I think that you're fighting too many good cards in the 2 slot in the classic weenie list. So
Yeah. Classic White Leanie's list is 2 drops, basically.
yeah.
Put it in my Lolcats deck.
Pretty
turn
much.
1 Step Links, turn 2 Leonin Snarecaster.
Sick.
All right. Yeah. Tech. Observant Elseed. White 2 colorless for enchantment creature Nymph 2/2 with bestow of white and 4 colorless. This seems worse than the other bestow one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's still got the same drawbacks, the same pluses, but it's not good.
If you're looking for a 2/2 with visions for 2, I think just stick with the Sentinel Sliver, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Ray of Dissolution. White and 2 colorless for an instant. Destroy target enchantment. You gain 3 life.
Sideboard card.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Natural End worked.
Yep.
Yeah. Scholar of Athreos. For a white and 2 colorless for a human cleric who's 1/4. 2 and a black. Each opponent loses 1 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way.
Really expensive ability.
Yeah, but Horned Turtle with upside?
Yeah.
How can you argue with that?
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Pauper EDH deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pauper EDH hands down. The blue-black or the black-white deck in standard is Extort. Does Extort really need this, or does Extort already function well enough without it?
It's a late game mana sink. It's fine.
Yeah, it'd get you there at the end once you run out of stuff to extort.
Especially
It does have big enough. Oh, go ahead.
No, you make a good point, because other thing too is Extort's losing a lot of its removal, which is what it extorted off of most of the time, was just light the Extort creatures and just start killing everything Extort, remove leeching life. So yeah, like you said, a Horned Turtle with a mana sink ability for late game, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean I think he goes in the deck probably as a 2 or a 3 of in that deck.
Makes a solid choice. With him and Basilica Guards, they can hold down the fort all dang day.
Yep.
Especially since removing the one, or we lost the 1 burn spell that destroys 4 toughness creatures or less. So yeah, Brimstone Volley's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that card's gone.
Nice.
All right, so Setessan Battle Priest, white and colorless for a 1/3 human cleric with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Setessan Battle Priest, you gain 2 life. It's another trap, I think.
Yeah.
Heroic in
Yeah.
itself seems like a trap, but that's just me.
That's not just you. I'm pretty sure that's everybody.
Yeah.
All right, cool. On the same page there. So Setessan Griffin, following in the tradition of overpriced griffins, white and 4 colorless for a 3/2 with flying, and for 2 green, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. This is a late pick, fill out your deck limited card.
Actually, this is a pretty middling pick, limited card. I think.
Yeah. It's pick
What?
14. It's this if it was this or the land. And everyone still pauses.
Eh.
I don't know, is the land foil?
Land foil.
How about this? No, the land's not foil, but the griffin is.
Maybe they'll misread it when I play it on because the surface is so shiny.
Sure, grab that.
Anyways, next card.
Silent Artisan. White, and 3 colorless for a 3/5 vanilla giant.
It is no paladin. Skip it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Next card. Traveling Philosopher. White and a colorless for a 2/2 vanilla human advisor.
Nope.
Bears.
Yeah.
Next card.
It's the new definition of hate bear. Doesn't do anything for you. Wingsteed Rider. White, colorless for a flying 2/2 human knight. Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Wingsteed Rider, put a +1/+1 counter on Wingsteed Rider.
This is a heroic guy I can see playing.
Build a bigger guy, yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the white-black deck, and I wonder if you could do, instead of going the extort route, because you've got Blood Baron and stuff like that, just type of stuff where you're either sacking creatures to make your own creatures bigger, or playing spells that make, just adding a bunch of tokens. The problem is it only targets him.
Yeah. You have to cast it, too.
And the only thing I can think of that white, off the top of my head, that white uses to enchant its stuff anymore, or target stuff anymore, is through enchantments, and that's Ethereal Armor. Because Bonds of Faith is gone, because that was the other card I thought of. Like, he's not a bad Bonds of Faith target, but yeah, again.
For the next couple of months.
The one,
No, actually, he's gone. Ooh.
Yeah, Bonds of Faith is gone as well.
the one concept I can see is cipher cards, like
Yeah.
like hidden strings. Hidden strings in particular is the one that works really well with the heroic effects. And we'll get into that in a little bit in blue. But
I guess it's not a... I don't know. I guess it's hard to say, like, it might work if you're playing, like, that white-blue control deck, and then you just lock down the board and go over the top with the evasive creature all dang day, but it's just not the same as using an old Seraph, but that's gone too, I suppose.
Yeah, we get a vigilance guy now.
And the Paladin, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and the last white card is Yoked Ox. For a single white, you get a 0/4, so they made Battle Cattle worse.
It's a body.
Hold the fort
Yeah.
down, apparently.
why don't they make these guys defenders?
Yeah. Really.
You never know, you might pull that late game enchantment and go, well, I guess I could go on the offensive with him.
Yeah, I guess I could play this heroic guy and give him +2/+2 and vigilance. It only cost me 7
Yeah.
mana to do it. I'm not impressed with white, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's pretty underwhelming.
It's got, what, God's Willing, Last Breath if you're looking for a sideboard card, maybe in Rays of Dissolution?
That's
Yeah.
about it.
And maybe the
Everybody loves
Lydian,
Rays of
but that's about it.
Yeah. Kind of
All right, let's move
bad.
on to blue.
All right, Chris.
Oh, blue. So the first card in blue is Annul, which is a blue or an instant for 1 blue mana, counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Yeah,
I like it.
It's a good card.
it's a sideboard card, but
Yeah, it is.
it's good stuff.
Well,
So
let me see. We got
next card we have is Aqueous Form. It's an enchantment aura for 1 blue mana. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature can't be blocked. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, scry 1.
Why not they just say unblockable?
Because I think I read an article on this, and like they're trying to not keyword unblockable,
Oh, okay.
and I guess that's sort of confusing. Like, especially when you have creatures that say something like to the effect of like, blah 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 can block 99 creatures.
Yeah.
And, so I think just saying enchanted creature cannot be blocked. Period. End of story. There's no exceptional conditions here. That way, it doesn't confuse new players. No, I don't like this guy.
Too big.
Like,
Casting cost is ridiculous.
yeah, I think I'd much rather have like a curiosity or something like that. Most of my blue creatures can't be blocked anyway, so.
Yeah, say Blue Flyers is part of the deck. That's kind of Blue Flyers is actually almost back too if you look at the creatures they gave us, but not entirely.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we have the biggest hexproof creature in Pauper, Benthic Giant for 5 and a blue. He is a 4/5 hexproof.
That dude is huge on its own before you even enchant him.
Yeah.
But is he worth the 6?
It's hexproof. And it's a 4, as I say, the biggest creatures in Standard Pauper for the longest time was a 4/4 and like a Ogre Jailbreaker. And what was the other 4/4? Can't even think of one right now. But no, he pulls away every 4 toughness creature and nothing kills him in combat before enchantments. Make him bigger and he's 10 times more terrifying.
Yeah, I suppose.
only I could ramp him out with something like Cloud Post.
One day, Chris. One day.
Yeah, no, he's a big dude, and he's going to be like a prime target for things like the lifelink bestow guy, because you already have the mana, and if you have a 5/6 lifelinker, it's pretty hard to lose that game.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But by the same token, look at Classic Pauper. If this is your win strategy, Stompy's already killed you. Affinity's already killed you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the concern I would have with it.
Yeah,
But
I'd say it's
thing
got
is,
no home
too-
in classic.
No home in Classic, but in Standard, it's like I said, the enchantment deck's probably going to change and shift more towards blue here, because they lost, what was it, Primal Hunt Beast. We still have Rebel Deck Rhino. We now have Glade Cover Scout. So we still have our 3 main targets, so chances are we're going to be wanting to throw like Ethereal Armor and the new white lifelink enchantment on either Glade Cover or Rebel Deck Rhino. But if the game goes late enough, this guy can go down there. You don't even need to enchant him. He can still be a threat that your opponent can't deal with.
Yeah.
And trust me, if they got the lifelink, games will probably go on long enough anyways, so...
Yeah, Standard Pauper games last a little bit longer.
All right. Next we have Breaching Hippocamp. He is a creature horsefish.
Yes!
It's a horsefish.
For 3 and a...
Hey, never you can control yourself.
Oh,
Right. For
yeah,
3 and a blue, you have a flash 3/2. When Breaching Hippocamp enters the battlefield, untap another target creature you control. So I like this card because it's like a super surprise thing. Can just catch people off guard. You're attacking with your big flyers, and then you untap, like let's say Nephilia Sea Kite or something. You can flash this dude in and untap and just get them in the next combat.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this guy's nickname. Seabiscuit. You get it?
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, God.
It's interesting. I mean, 4 for a 3/2 with flash that, you can swing for the team. You can set your opponent up to swing in with everything, flash him in, and, untap someone else and do some major blocking damage. I see the potential with him. I really do.
Yeah.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit.
God.
Next card we have is Coastline Chimera. 3 and a blue for a creature Chimera. Flying, and you can pay 1 and a white. Coastline Chimera can block an additional creature this turn. And he's a 1/5, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really impressive. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
No.
Moving along. Crackling Triton for 2 and a blue. You got a 2/3. Passes the vanilla test. For a creature Merfolk Wizard. And you can pay 2 and a blue to sacrifice Crackling Triton. Crackling Triton deals 2 damage to target creature or player. And that's 2 and a red. For a shock.
Not bad.
No, that's bad. You have to sack him. You only get 1 shot with it.
He's versatile.
Yeah.
So we're like this guy's blue-reds type like decks, and he's just a decent finisher, right? You swing in with the team, and then you can just sack this dude and kill them. There you go.
I can see him getting used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's nifty. Next card is Fate Foretold. 1 and a blue for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Whenever Fate Foretold enters the battlefield, draw a card. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card. So this is like a cantrip. It's okay. I think it's actually probably the best of these cantrip enchantments.
Yeah, you pay 2, draw 2 cards.
Yeah, sort of. You have to throw your creature under the bus, but
Yeah.
it sort of makes like blocking for your opponent kind of tricky too. They're like, I don't really want to block this dude, because then they get to draw a card, and then I lose the creature anyway. So yeah, you can 2-for-1 them with this. It's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along, we have Grip Tide. 3 and a blue for an instant. Put target creature on top of its owner's library.
Reprint. Another one.
This is a reprint.
Yeah.
So this is possibly like the most frustrating thing you can do or have done it to you in Magic.
Yeah. It's either that or the bottom of your library, one of the two.
Well, it's when you deny their draws.
Let's say whenever I have like time that played against me in limited, I'm like, God, I hate you so much right now. Because it's like you have to replay the creature. You lost a draw step. You don't get to, you have to replay the same crappy creature that wasn't doing anything. So, yeah. Really annoying.
They lose all the auras that were on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually like this card a lot, especially like standard Pauper now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really
One or
sweet.
two of, so there's at least gonna be 2. I don't know which deck, but 2 of which seems to be right. One of the decks.
Yeah. Next card we have is Lost in the Labyrinth. It's an instant. Target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. Scry 1.
I don't like it.
No.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
Except it's not an enchantment.
Say sensory deprivation sticks there like sticks around for the party.
Yeah, that's not fun. I actually went up against 2 of those. When I did that draft last Friday Night Magic, I played a Singer Vampire and had 2 of those things thrown on my creature because I amped it up with Dark Favor. So I had 2 sensory deprivations of the vampire. It was painful. It was not fun.
All right,
Speaking of reprints,
so
though.
yeah, speaking of reprints, Mnemonic Wall gets a reprint. It's 4 and a blue for a creature wall. When it's a defender, when Mnemonic Wall enters the battlefield, you may return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand.
This will be fun with Archaeomancer still being in standard Pauper, guys.
But you don't have Ghostly Flicker anymore.
Thank God for that, at least.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that it was a half decent card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Mnemonic Wall actually better than Archaeomancer in the same, in the decks, especially now with Flicker gone, with Ghostly Flicker gone and standard Pauper, because it's really hard to attack through a 0/4. It's not so hard to attack through a 1/2.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to attack through a 0/4.
Yeah.
And since this is going to control deck, they're going to need either removal or counter spell or basically whatever the heck they need just to screw your day up some more with back.
Oh, yeah.
So
That didn't sound bitter at all, Peter.
yeah. So our next card is Nimbus Naiad. It's an enchantment creature, nymph. Bestow cost of 4 and a blue. Flying, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. Yeah.
Didn't we talk
2/2
about
flyer.
this card? We
Mono
talked about
blue
this card
flyers.
last week. Yeah, mono blue flyers. So
Yeah.
It's a 2/2 evasive creature, and if you need to, you can bestow it on something.
yeah,
But chances are you're just going to be playing it for a 2/2 flyer.
exactly.
I don't think so. I think actually this creature is more going to be paid for its bestow cost to break up board stalls.
This is true. Turn something to a 4/4 flyer or a 3/3 flyer.
Yeah.
It's not
Turn
bad.
something into a bigger flyer. And
No,
then they have to double block it, and then you get the 2/2 back.
Yep, that's not bad at all.
So yeah, I think this is probably the best of the bestow
At
Dudes.
common level.
Yeah.
at common level. All right. So next we have my personal favorite, Omen Speaker. He is 1 in a blue for a 1/3. When Omen Speaker enters the battlefield, scry 2.
Pretty OP.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
OP.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's almost a Seagate Oracle. You just don't get to keep the cards.
Yeah.
You do get to sort goes up to what's on top and what's on bottom now.
Yeah.
I mean, a 1/3 coming down against you in Pauper, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Turn 2. Not to mention, he's also getting to organize his library a little bit. Yeah, that's difficult. That's pretty good card.
Yeah, and I'm saying it scries 2 too, and scrying 2 is way more relevant than the scry 1s that we've seen before in this thing here in this Theros review so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right. Next we have Prescient Chimera, and it's a creature Chimera for 3 blue. Flying, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. He's a 3/4 flyer.
I like this card. I mean, I don't like the casting cost, but I mean, being in a control deck when you're playing Lost to Instants and Sorceries, being able to go 1 deep and decide whether or not you want to keep it on top of your library or not, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a way to kill this guy in Standard Pauper easily with the 4 toughness?
No.
Aerial Predation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would be my thought is if there is a way to kill him easily, then he is going to be a target. But if there isn't an effective way to get rid of him, I can see the value.
Yeah, and it's a 3/4 flying body on top of it. So
And
His
I'll say
Regis
with-
Destroy kicked ass.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
I mean, if you're running this guy and you're running the Archaeomancers and you're running the mnemonic walls, you're scrying pretty efficiently with this.
oh yeah,
for sure.
I don't know, kind of like it.
Yeah. It's 'cause
It'll see a
definitely it's
place.
Yep. So next we have Stymied Hopes. It is 1 in a blue for an instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. Scry 1.
Days with the Scry
And not free.
and not free.
Yeah. Which makes it not super.
Yeah, so this is a more expensive Force Spike. And
Yeah.
Force Spike is really only good in those super early turns.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't really like this card.
And
Whole
you
lot.
shouldn't either.
Yeah.
I think we're on agreement there.
I mean, it actually gets better with a lot of scry effects, because you can, if it's not in your opening hand, then you can ship it to the bottom of your library when you scry. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's not as bad as it looks, I think.
I think I'd rather just stick with either the Negate or Essence Scatter, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Mana Leak.
Well, they've
One
already
day,
said-
Yeah, we
we'll
know.
have
I
it.
know.
Yeah, I'd rather
I
have Banner
know.
League too.
I know.
Oh.
Wizard said no.
Aw. Okay, so next we have Thassa's Bounty. Thassa's Bounty? It's a sorcery for 5 and a blue. Wow, it's expensive. Draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
It's no pilfered plans.
No.
It's no amass the components, no pilfered plans, it's no anything really. It's really expensive for a draw 3 cards effect. But drawing 3 cards is a really powerful effect. So
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is maybe trying to find some way to work again with Mnemonic Wall and Archaeomancer, where if you draw the 3 cards and then you put 3 cards into your graveyard, and you've got the tools at your disposal to play something that lets you return an instant or a sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. But that just seems really cute, in my opinion, and not actually a worthwhile thing.
I'll say it combos pretty well with like Goblin Electromancer. We still have that, so
Yeah.
It's true.
Goblin Electromancer making this thing really cheap can be really powerful. And like I said, if you draw 3 cards in a red-blue type control deck and you don't just straight win that game, I think you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, on top of that, though, it's target player puts top 3 cards in his or library and in his or her graveyard.
Exactly.
So you can draw 3 cards and mill your opponent for 3, which I find kind of funny after especially if they just got done scrying and they really liked what was on top of their library.
Yeah. So this can be more relevant. I think this is the card that replaces Amass the Components. So
yeah.
But you don't get to say, amass the components!
sorry, I don't do funny voices. Okay. I'll leave the funny voices to you, Chris.
You guys are like, this is why he's not on the show every week anymore.
Whatever.
Next we have Triton Shore Thief. It's another Merfolk. It's a creature Merfolk Rogue for a single blue mana. Here's a 1/2.
Nah.
Yeah.
Adding to that,
It's a 1/2.
adding to that lovely tradition of Bush League 1X single blue merfolks that don't do anything.
Yeah. They're in a special club all of their own.
So this guy's not worth the card, basically.
Is he riding a horsefish? Because if he is, we can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Seabiscuit's in there?
He's not even riding a horsefish. He's just...
Damn it. Okay, no, he's worthless.
He's worthless. He works well on a rifle range, though.
Nate, your fascination with shooting things scares me sometimes.
Yeah.
Just don't be a merfolk. All right, anyway.
Alrighty. So I have to reload my screen. I had to click on the picture and make sure he wasn't actually riding a horsefish. Because I would feel rather stupid if he was riding a horsefish.
Your whole argument would have been invalid.
Yeah.
He's not riding a horsefish? Oh crap, he is. Well, I guess that means he deserves a slot, guys. Appreciate the art. Vaporkin.
Come on. Yeah, we have Vaporkin. Welkin Turn comes back.
As I say, we have Welkin Turn.
Yep. It's a functional Welkin Turn.
Yep.
The thing I always think about is Zendikar Limited and just how oppressive Welkin Turn was.
Yeah.
So, but as far as... Go ahead.
Yeah, I should actually read the card. 1 and a blue for creature elemental. Flying. Vaporkin can only block creatures with flying. 2/1. There we go. Covered it.
Yep, covered. Welkin Turn used to be just a beating in limited Zendikar. And that might just be the role this one fills again, because Welkin Turn came back with one of the core sets and he just kind of didn't really do anything.
He was in Mono Blue Flyers.
I'd say he was a staple in Mono Blue Flyers for sure.
Because he's just aggressive as all hell. You play him down and start turning him sideways. You didn't care that he could only block flyers.
My favorite thing to do with Welkin Turn was always when I was playing the Dimir build, and just like throwing Dark Favor on it and sending it out.
When does 2013 rotate out?
When Theros comes out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Theros
Okay.
is released.
Crap. Okay, so we couldn't have, because that would be insane to have 4 Vaporkin, 4 Welkin Turns.
Yeah.
That would be an oppressive deck. That would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Welkin Turn makes a comeback, so we can continue to see Mono Blue Flyers in standard
Pretty
format.
much.
Alright, next we have Voyage's End. For 1 and a blue, you get an instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand, scry 1.
I want to say it seems good, but I'm going to say it's not.
Well, what are we losing? Are we losing? We're losing the card that you would normally use, the buyback.
You mean flashback?
Yeah, the flashback. We're losing
Silent
flashback.
Departure?
Yeah, we're losing Silent Departure.
You're losing Unsummon.
You're losing
that's true.
Unsummon.
Losing Mistress.
You
Yeah,
got-
we're losing basically all of our bounce creatures.
Yep.
So this is kind of what we have to work with then.
That or
disperse.
Voidcaster,
Disperse.
which is the 1/4, whatever the heck he is.
Void Wielder.
There we go, that
Yeah.
dude.
And disperse.
Yep.
So
So my biggest question is, in Standard Pauper, do you want this or do you want the Disperse? Disperse is more versatile because you can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. But this one, you get to scry one.
And mono blue control deck, scrying one is actually pretty powerful.
it's hard to say because it depends what the metagame starts turning into. If there's more asset things you need to bounce and get rid of, then
Then disperse.
yes, disperse is the better way to go. But
If it's just creatures again, okay, sure.
disperse
scry
is
one.
instant, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, it disperses. I'm still trying to go with disperse because ethereal armor is freaking everywhere. That's anything that's white and aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many times you just see it's like, oh, if you walled out against like White Weenie or Boros or Selesnya, they just have the one creature with ethereal armor. They just swing with the one guy. So sure, it's a cute combat trick because it gets rid of the ethereal armor for a turn, and you let you kill out their creature. But that'd be it probably. But then again, you just Voice Engine bounce it back anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know then. Hard to say.
There you go. And the last card that we have is Wave Crash Triton. We have another creature merfolk wizard, folks. It is
Nice.
Fish Wizards.
It is a 1/4 for 2 and a blue. But man, look at this heroic ability. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Wave Crash Triton, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its next untap step.
Yeah, we talked about this last week with the hidden strings. It's kind of good.
Yeah.
You know, for a fish, that dude is ripped. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
And he's a 1/4, which makes him harder to kill. So
Makes him impossible to kill in Standard Pauper.
yeah.
And heroic ability is really relevant for this guy. You know,
Yeah.
getting a little mini Frost Titan is really good.
Pretty much.
So yeah, pretty good. What do you think of the set as a whole for blue?
Blue got the hookup in Theros, I think. Definitely got the lion's share of commons.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would
but
too.
And I think that's
yeah,
Wizards seeing blue hasn't been a really big contender in the standard metagame for like a year or two. So yeah, I think they decided to give blue the hookup, especially with like Snapcaster rotating out.
Oh yeah, that guy. I keep forgetting how many cards are actually disappearing with this next rotation.
There's lots of good cards disappearing.
Yep.
Wow. Huh. Anyways, black.
That's you,
Black.
Chris. Your color.
all right. Up first is the Asphodel Wanderer, which is a single black for a skeleton soldier. 1/1, and for black and 2 colorless, you can regenerate your puny 1/1.
No.
No.
Nah, don't play this card.
Ignore it. It doesn't exist.
Well, it exists. That unfortunately you can't deny, but just don't do it.
Up next is Baleful Eidolon, which is a black and a colorless for a 1/1 enchantment creature, Spirit. So he's got the old Bestow on him. So for Bestow, which is black and 4 colorless, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has Death Touch. Again, it seems really expensive.
Yeah.
I went to it. Death Touch. Let's say, Death Touch is nice, but it's not worth the 5.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Any other?
Mm-mm. No, it's just bad. I think, well, if you look at like all the colors we've gone through, they seem to do these 5-drop bestows with one of the key abilities from that color.
And then +1/+1.
And +1/+1 it. I mean, so it's kind of a trait that they put in this set. But I think out of all of them we've seen so far, probably the best one is the flying one. Yeah, the blue one. So
I wrote on Twitter that the horsefish is nicknamed Seabiscuit, and someone wrote back and said, only if we can call Curse of the Swine the Apocalypse.
Yes. God.
outstanding.
Anyway, Blood Toll Harpy. Excuse me. Black and 2 colorless for a 2/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, each player loses 1 life.
Flying Mega Carrier, but more expensive.
Yeah.
I still want to say no, though.
It's a harpy, though.
And?
Harpies are cool.
Nate, now why are you saying that?
Okay, so it seems kind of cool when you first look at it. Okay, cool, not only am I getting a flyer, a 2/1 flyer, but I'm dinging my opponent when he comes into play. It's just, I think there's better ways to do it.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, would I pay black and a colorless for a 2/1 flyer? Yeah, I think I would, but would I pay an extra colorless mana for me and my opponent to lose a life? I don't think I would.
No.
So I think when you wrap it all up into the entire package, I think it's just, I just think it's subpar.
Yeah. Not good. I'm gonna have to agree.
Okay. So, Boon of Erebos. For a black instant, target creature gets +0/+2 until end of turn. Regenerate it, you lose 2 life.
Black doesn't do combat tricks, it blows shit up.
Yeah. It seems like a bad dark favor.
Just don't.
At instant speed.
It's not Dark Favor, though, because Dark Favor
I
gives
know.
power, not toughness.
I know, but I'm just saying it's like a really, really bad dark favor. Not saying it's good.
I would just talk about the
Very
Cavern
good,
Lampet.
Yes.
Get 0/2 until end of turn, regenerate, lose 2 life. I don't think there's anything that's really worth that, in my
No.
opinion.
Because you can't even use it as a blue shock, because no matter what creature you target, you still lose the 2 life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Cavern Lampad, which is a black 3 colorless for a 2/2 nymph. It's got Bestow. For black and 5 colorless, you can give a creature +2/+2 and Intimidate. Let me do you a favor. No.
Yeah. Just no.
This is what black does poorly, in my opinion, is you get black can have really effective enchantments. You know, Dark Favor is a good example of that, where yes, it gives your creature a nice boost, but you're going to lose some life for it, and you hope that the positive of your creature being bigger is going to make up for that, right?
Yeah.
But when it doesn't have that losing a couple of your own life to make it cost effective, you're stuck with stuff that costs this much.
Yeah.
And it's just not really that cost efficient to play it.
No.
Okay. Good job, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Disciple of Disciple of
Wait for the
Phoenix.
high five, too.
Yeah. This.
There it is.
Yeah. Disciple of Phoenix, or Phoenix, or Phoenix, depending on... Hooked on Disciple of Phoenix worked for me. Black, and 2 colorless for a 1/3 cleric. When Disciple of Phoenix enters the battlefield, target player reveals a number of cards from his or her hand, equal to your devotion to black. You choose one of them. That player discards that card.
So you're guaranteed to at least C2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that still seems steep.
Okay, so let's look at it this way.
Mono black discard deck.
It costs 4. So if your opponent played 1 card a turn, you're not really gonna... I mean, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
No.
Unless they're doing something crazy where they're keeping themselves with a full grip. And if they're keeping themselves with a full grip, they're going to show you the weakest ones they have.
Yeah.
And if they aren't, they're either at a point where they're not drawing optimally, or you might get lucky and occasionally get something from them. It just seems like it's a really overcosted way to have a selective discard.
Yeah, it is. Pretty bad.
Okay. Fellhide Minotaur, black and 2 colorless for a 2/3 vanilla Minotaur.
Yep, that's it. Just a Minotaur.
That's
It's
No
flavor
messing
for the
closer.
it's flavor. It's theme for the set. So
what do you want, man? It's a giant. It's a bull. It's a Minotaur.
yeah,
What do you want for black and 2 colorless?
yeah.
I want a zombie horse.
Flesh Mad Steed. Black and a colorless for a creature horse. 2/2. Whenever another creature dies, tap Fleshmad Steed. Really?
Yeah. You know what? What makes me so sad about this card?
It's not a fish.
Why can they give us a blue horsefish and they can't give me a black horse bat?
A horse bat? Seriously?
Oh my god, that would be awesome. You kidding me?
Come on, seriously. They give us a horsefish but no horse bat? Come on.
It's a horse with bat wings that has lifelink.
Yeah.
Vampiric Fleshmad Steed.
Yeah.
Creature horse bat vampire.
It's a relative argument. Come on.
Well, if you really want to be flavorful with it, you could just put Mark of the Vampire on your Fleshmad Steed.
It's still not a horse bat.
Well, sorry, Vorthos.
God. I don't even know what to say at this point, but if I had to say anything, it's at least a bear, and if you're being aggressive, him getting tapped from stuff dies isn't such a big thing because you're going to be swinging with him every turn anyways, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if he taps when creatures are dying, it's usually meaning they're playing main phase removal, which is not usually when people play removal anyways, so...
Yeah.
Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Black, and 3 colorless for a 2/4 zombie. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is equal to your devotion to black. You gain life equal to life lost this way.
I like him.
It seems good, but it's really expensive.
Yeah, 5 for 2/4.
You think about it this way. By itself, it is the equivalent of a Bloodhunter bat, where you trade in the flying for 2 more toughness. So in that regard, I can give it to that. Now, if you, as I was saying, he's coming down turn 5 or so, he's got 2 devotion to black himself. If you're playing black, chances are you'll have 1 or 2 more creatures at least down, because other times you'll be using removal. So, assuming they each have 1 black symbol in their mana cost each, you're getting 4 life off this 2/4. So when you think about going, I play this guy, you lose 4, I gain 4, I have a 2/4. That seems like a pretty solid deal.
Yeah.
I guess you could end the game with him, too.
Yeah, you could.
And as you saw, too, looking through a lot of this stuff, a lot of these black cards have multi-black symbols in them.
Yeah. This is true.
Okay, I'm warming up. I'm warming up to him. I think if you've got a couple of them, to use as an endgame alternative, you got your opponent down to... You're on turn 6, you got your opponent down to 5 life. Or something of that nature. Yeah, maybe, potentially. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's brew-worthy, I think.
But do you know what doesn't have potential?
Lash of the Whip?
Yes, for dear God, why is this not just Grasp of Darkness again?
Yeah.
Black and 4 colorless for an instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn.
A super expensive Grasp of Darkness.
Wow.
It makes me sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Loathsome Catoblepus.
We're just going to bypass it. I like it.
Black and 5 colorless for a 3/3 beast. And for a green and 2 colorless, Loathsome Catoblepus must be blocked this turn if able. When Loathsome Catoblepus dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn.
I don't like him.
That's expensive, gentlemen. So expensive.
So, what this guy does is he pitchburn devils. Like he forces your opponent to pitchburn devils to make him a pitchburn devils, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but more costly.
Yeah, it costs more because you force your opponent to do it. So,
Yeah.
and it's also worth noting that it just says that he must be blocked. You don't get to choose who blocks.
Who does
it.
the blocking? Yeah.
Right, so they can throw an Elvish Mystic in front of it and be happy.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking one for the team, Manadork.
Yeah. Mark of the Returned. Black and 3 colorless for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Paying 4 mana for 2 creatures.
It's not Morbid Plunder. Unfortunately, we're losing our other grave recursion spells, so I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think 4 mana is really like a lot of asking you to play this card.
Yeah.
It's asking you to pay 4 mana, it's asking you to have 2 creatures in the graveyard, and then it's asking you to be played at sorcery speed. So, I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Pharika's Cure. Black for an instant. Pharika's Cure deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life.
Isn't this just a...
Soren's Thirst.
Yeah, Soren's Thirst with a different name. So...
I like it.
Yeah,
Soren's Thirst is a really good card.
Yeah, it is.
And in all honesty, with Standard, with everything rotating, it's probably one of our better black removal spells.
Yeah.
Doesn't kill the fatties, but still going to be an efficient 2 mana removal.
Yep.
It's better than Lash of the Whip.
Yeah.
I think
For sure.
what the other like big removal spell we have is what, Quag Sickness.
Card's bad.
I'm just saying what we have to work with.
Yeah.
And it's
Hey.
it's not a whole lot, unfortunately.
It isn't pretty.
Don't diss on Quag Sickness. I like Quag Sickness.
It'll definitely kill something, but I just wish it was instant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it
Well,
sticks. That's the good thing.
It sticks and it gets better as time goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Alright.
Read the
What?
Read the Bones. Black and 2 colorless for a sorcery. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. You lose 2 life.
I like this card. I don't know what I want to throw it in, but I want to try it out because it seems really good.
Yeah.
Well, when Sign in Blood rotates out, and you need something that's Sign in Blood Ash.
It's like they decided to take Preordain and Sign in Blood and make 1 card. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
So this
saying.
is even this is even classic Pauper playable, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
it's slightly better than Sign in Blood, but it's slightly slower, so
It is slower.
the problem is finding a deck where this fits in classic Pauper, because the mono black deck, mono black control, wants to do Chittering Rats or Crypt Rats or whatever on turn 3, and yeah,
Combination of both.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that's just it. I mean, to have the 2-drop slot because you're gonna have Ravenous Rats and some sort like Geth's Verdict or Diabolic Edict or that type of nature, and then in your 3-drop spot you've also got Liliana Spectre and Phyrexian Rager.
Yeah.
You just don't want a really bloated 3-drop in your deck. So I mean, remains to be seen. I can see where this will definitely be experimented with, both in classic and standard Pauper, though, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, Returned Centaur. For a black and 3 colorless, you get a 2/4 zombie centaur. And when he enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. A 2/4 for 4 isn't bad in black, I don't think. And the addition of kind of milling your opponent just for a little bit extra. But
I'd rather play Ubelsaar Gatekeepers here.
Pretty much.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably the first zombie centaur we've ever seen.
Oh, Cursed Centaur.
Yeah, Cursed Centaur was the first.
Oh, was that earlier?
Back in Onslaught.
Yeah. They haven't
guys.
done many zombie centaurs.
No, they like their horses living for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
you mentioned like the target player puts the top 4 cards of his library and mill effects, but in all reality, mill is dead without a repeatable source of mill, and we lose Curse of the Bloody Tomb. So your dreams and hopes of making a mill deck are just kaput. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yo, we didn't get
For the
anything, did
record,
we?
I have no dreams of making a mill deck. I'm just trying to be the optimist.
Well, Blue Black Mill was the only deck that I played in standard Pauper this past season, so I'm kind of sad to see Curse of the Bloody Tomb going away.
So is the is the whole thing dead for it to be a zombie centaur, or is it just like maybe the horse half is dead and the human part's still alive, or how's that work?
Oh no, it sounds like something you should bring up on MTG Salvation on the forums. I'm sure someone can give you an answer.
Because I'm just wondering. I mean, it's like, and then you start to think about, a horsefish. Is it like a like a centaur, but it's a merfolk instead of a human?
I think so. I haven't looked. I didn't look at the picture.
Is that bestiality? Return Phalanx. Black and a colorless for a 3/3 zombie soldier with defender. And for a blue and a colorless, he can attack this turn as though it didn't have defender.
So
you had me right until it costing a blue.
Yeah. A 3/3 for 2 mana is really tough to beat through, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. And if you lay it down turn 2, you're really going to stall your opponent out.
Yeah. The upside, like the making it able to attack, it doesn't really attack well, though. I mean, we're already seeing a lot of 4 toughness things in this format. But
pretty much.
So I think where you want him is in a black control deck that just needs a defender on turn 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then you are playing all your removal spells in turn 2, so do you really want to play this guy? And the answer is I think you do. I think you still want to play this guy because it builds a board presence and you can save your removal spells for later.
Yeah,
key creatures.
He's also, if you're playing a little bit aggro with this deck, if you're playing a Dimir, he is a turn 3. He is a 3/3 attack. He is a turn 3 3/3 attacker.
I think if you're playing aggro,
yeah.
First off, blue-black does not do aggro.
Yeah.
You're wanting to throw a creature out every turn.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're at worst case scenario, if you're in limited and you're playing Dimir, you're thinking first turn you play an island, second turn you play a swamp, and then you cast it, and then third turn you have nothing better to do, and you just tap and swing for 3.
Yeah. We're a Pauper podcast.
I'm just saying.
Not a limited podcast.
I'm being optimist. I'm being optimistic.
I know. I've made like a million limited references this show, too. So.
Scourge Mark. Black and a colorless for an enchantment or a enchant creature. When Scourge Mark enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0. I'm going to say skip it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't do enough.
Sip of Hemlock. Black, 4 colorless, a sorcery, destroy target creature. Its controller loses 2 life.
Next.
Viper's Kiss for a single black enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1. Its activated abilities can't be activated.
I actually like this card.
No.
Sideboard.
It's not even a sideboard. No.
There's nothing in standard Pauper that has activated abilities other than mana darts, in which case it's just going to friggin' kill them. If you want an enchantment like this, stick with Stab Wound, because it'll kill the player over time.
I'm thinking more like black doesn't have many cards that have this creature's activated abilities can't be activated as effect. That's something that black doesn't normally do.
Well, it's done fine without them, Nate.
So.
Do you know why it doesn't have that? Because usually it just straight up kills the crap out of them, so they don't need.
Well, yeah, I know. Just saying.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so activated abilities are going to be abilities where they tap the creature to do something. And yeah, there's really not a lot of those I'm worried about in standard or regular Pauper even.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to stop the Wave Crash Triton from triggering Heroic either because it's a trigger ability. So
yeah,
it's not going to stop Extort either again because once again triggers. So moving on.
That's it.
Yep. What do you think of black?
Black got Read the Bones.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
And Thoughtseize.
And Thoughtseize, yeah.
They got Thoughtseize.
Parika's Cure. That's a good card.
Yeah, the Soren's Thirst alternative.
Yeah.
And I think black is kind of... there might be a way to make some of this stuff work.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna involve testing it. It's gonna involve kind of working with what's there after, rotation to see kind of what's left.
It's going to involve banging your head against the wall.
Yep.
Basically.
And not a horse bat among it.
A horse bat among it. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, We're on to red.
Okay.
Our first card is our first card is a Crowan Crusader, 1 red mana. It has heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a Crowan Crusader, put a 1/1 red soldier creature token with haste onto the battlefield. I kind of like this card. You're playing mainly in red. You're playing aggro, and most likely in standard Pauper, you're gonna throw probably like the top of my head, I can think of
Madcap skills.
Madcap skills.
Unfortunately, the other spell they use is Rumbleback Maka, and that's not actually a spell, so it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for your Madcap
But-
skills needs, you'll get an extra body, but that's about it, I
Yeah,
think.
getting an extra body with Madcap skills actually doesn't sound too bad to me, actually. And it kind of does fit in building bodies for Battalion if you want to go that route. Battalion is not the greatest ability in the world, but it's interesting.
Yeah, that's actually pretty relevant. I wasn't even thinking about Battalion when I was looking at this guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it adds body for your Battalion, so you can go swing in next turn and pull off some Battalion combat tricks.
Yeah, and I mean, it also enables a lot of the enchantments, like the Madcap skills, makes it where you're not going to get 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Because anytime you target it, you're going to get the 1/1 body. So at the worst, you'll get 1 for 1.
Yeah. So it seems pretty good. It seems pretty interesting to me. What do we got? Next card, we got Borderland Minotaur. 2 colorless, 2 red. It's a 4/3 vanilla creature. Basically, just going more in with the Theros theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a limited card.
Filler.
Yeah.
Say Marauding Maulhorn is an M14, and it's just pretty much strictly better.
Yeah, it is.
So
Now we've got Boulder Fall. 6 mana, 2 red. Ouch. Yeah.
Who likes the Bogarden Hellkite without the dragon?
Yeah. Boulder Fall deals 5 damage. Divide any way you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. I'm gonna say no.
yeah,
Hey, Nate, what's the artist's last name?
The artist's name is Horsley. So it's standing. I like it.
Anyway,
All right. Death Bellow Raider. 1 colorless, 1 red. A Minotaur Berserker. Death Bellow Raider attacks each turn if able. And it's a 2/3. And you can regenerate him for 2 colorless and 1 black. No.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
I do too.
You do?
I do too.
He actually works well for the red aggressive deck because he hovers slightly above the curve, and if you're playing red, you're going to be swinging in most of the time anyway, so that doesn't really matter.
Oh, so you're not going to use the regenerate, you're thinking?
Probably
no,
not.
No. These are
Okay.
the types of guys where you actually don't even care to regenerate. You just want him to swing in 2 or 3 times, and he's done his thing.
Okay, yeah, in that sense, yeah, not a bad card then. I was thinking, I just saw the regenerate and like, no. So,
Yeah. It's a little bit below the curve for red right now because red has Gorehouse Chainwalker currently, but
Yep.
he's got 3 toughness and makes up for it. That makes him
Yeah.
a lot harder to just block.
Do
yeah,
we still have Mog Flunkies, or is that rotating out?
That's gonna be rotating out.
yeah.
Oh, sad. Oh, well, at least we got this guy, and something else
Yes.
later on, too.
And then we have Demolish, another reprint. 3 colorless, 1 red, destroy target artifact or land.
Nope.
Nope. What do we have here? We got 1 drop, 1 red mana, Dragon Mantle. 1 Dragon Mantle enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gains tap red mana. This creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Fire breathing.
Yeah, fire breathing. So you get to draw a card, which in red is kind of helps. At least you're not discarding to draw the card.
This is actually pretty relevant, I think.
Yeah.
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 The
it's-
cost is right for one.
Yeah, it is. The cost is right.
the cost is right, and if you know, like, in classic Pauper, I'm playing Mono Black Control a lot here recently, just in play testing it. And one of the things that makes the deck really tick and work really well is cycling lands. So Dragon Mantle can even just work as a cycling thing to just filter through your deck and get more fuel.
Yeah.
And the upside, it's got upside too. So, gaining fire breathing and making your Death Bellow Raiders actually relevant when they attack, because they have to, into a 2/4.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just interesting. I like the name of this. I just want to say I love the name of this creature. Ill-Tempered Cyclops. 3 colorless, 1 red. 3/3 trample creature that has 5 and a red for Monstrosity 3. I think the Monstrosity is way too high. But it is a 3/3 trample creature.
Ill-Tempered Cyclops?
Yeah, I like the name. Ill-Tempered Cyclops.
I mean, that's like saying mildly discontent Griffin.
Just you wait, next block, we're going to get it. Our next set.
The Wizards is like listening to the show and like, hey, that's a good idea.
We need to get this guy on for naming cards.
Yeah.
So this guy's pretty cool. He's like a Roosevelt Mako with different sort of upside.
Yeah, you can make him bigger later.
Yeah, so he's relevant later in the game. And how are you going to deal with a 6/6 trampler?
Yeah.
You don't.
Especially when you can back it up with Roosevelt Mako.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's interesting.
He's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Lightning Strike. 1 red, 1 colorless, 1 red. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to target creature or player.
So just when you thought you were losing Searing Spear, it's back, kids.
Get rid of Searing Spear and play Lightning Strike. Go for it.
They should just call it Searing Spear. I mean, we're already dealing with all these phalanx.
Yeah.
We want to, get that whole new playset into our collections of cards. That's why.
Yeah.
So, what's cool about this is now that like the mono red slide deck becomes viable, because you have shocks and lightning strikes both in the same format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't they just print Lightning Bolt and call it good?
Because lightning bolt is way overpowered.
Same reason we don't just get. Why didn't they just print him to Turok?
Yeah, I suppose.
And have you looked at like standard and block metagames right now? Mono red is all over the place. It doesn't need any help.
Red deck wins. Yeah, I think Lightning Bolt will just put it over the top. Yeah, I suppose. Still, I can dream. Let's see. We got Messenger's Speed. 1 red mana. It's an aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchant creature has trample and haste.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it. Just because ideally you're going to be playing your creature, playing a creature on like at earliest this would even be viable would be 1 drop. Let's look at this here. 1 drop of Crone Crusader, and on turn 2, 1 drop Crone Crusader. It's a 1/1, and then you're giving them a haste and trample until end of turn, which a haste on 1/1 isn't, or trample on 1/1 is not that big of a deal.
Yeah, nope.
No.
What 4 cards are you taking out of your deck to play this? Then look at those 4 cards and realize that you need to put them back.
Yeah. It's not that great.
I'd rather play 28 mountains and a red deck wins than play 4 messenger speed with 24 mountains.
Yeah.
But we don't have Bull Rush to play in our red deck wins in standard, so we got to use something, right?
Bring him back to Bull Rush.
I always come back to
Ill-Tempered
that.
Cyclops needs a top hat. Sorry, go ahead.
God.
Right.
And like holding a valet in his hands, like, you dinged my Audi. That's an Ill-Tempered Cyclops.
No, he needs a monocle.
Yeah.
Chris, I think you found your new altar project.
Yes.
He sure isn't going to have regular glasses.
God.
Minutes.
I got another one.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Go for it.
Wild horse fishes couldn't drag me away. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, boo.
Minotaur Skull Cleaver, 2 colorless, 1 red, and it has haste. It's a 2/2. When Minotaur Skull Cleaver enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So this is a 3-drop swing in with a 4/2.
I like him.
Pretty.
It reminds me of the Vishino First Blade that we have in
It fits with
standard.
red. It fits with what red does. I'm gonna have to say this is not a bad card.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Concur.
Portent of Betrayal. Oh yes, we get another.
Nick your shit creature.
Yeah.
Card.
3 colorless, 1 red. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. So basically, we get another steal a creature and swing with their beat your opponent up with their own creature.
They just keep making this ability more and more expensive, don't
Yeah, they do.
I was like, well, we realize that this ability by itself is garbage. Or not garbage, but just not good. How can we add to it to make it not the same card repeatedly?
Yeah, let's just add Scry 1 to it.
Yeah, make it
Triggers-
cost 1 more mana and scry 1.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at what they've done over the last few sets. Like they do. One of them was
There's active treason. There's
+1/+1.
trample.
It gets
and
a
then
1/1
triggers
counter.
words.
One of them gets a 1/1 counter. You give the creature a 1/1 counter.
Plus
Yeah.
2 plus
You know what
0.
would be interesting, and I don't think they could do it at common level, is if they had this ability, and then, it was gain control of target creature until end of turn, that creature gains fire breathing until end of turn.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Just
Be
a different
interesting.
ability. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet, but yeah.
We don't have it.
Yeah.
So, I had a question. Does a sacrifice deck become really good? Now that we have 3 sacrifice things, we have 3 active treasons. We have Traitorous Instinct, Portent of Betrayal, and Active Treason. So, can I just throw this in a deck with a bunch of gnawing zombies and blood barons and steal their stuff and sack it?
Just do it over and over again until they rage quit.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
A little bit of burn in there as well.
Yeah.
And just
So this could be relevant in Standard Pauper just because it is another
Way of stealing.
treason effect.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I think that'd be great. And then when you start the match with your opponent, you just type "nice deck, I'll take it."
Yeah.
It's outstanding. Priest of Erois, I think that's how it's pronounced. 1 red mana, it's a human cleric. It's a 1/1. You pay 3 colorless and 1 white. Sacrifice Priest of Erois. Destroy target enchantment. Ow.
I think it's the
No.
first mono red card that destroys enchantment.
Yeah,
And you still
that's-
need the white to do it.
Yeah, you still need to wait to do it, so it's really useless.
Yeah, it's a 1/1 body. It's 1/1 isn't relevant enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
That you're playing this main deck.
Yeah.
Give her a mullet, stick her in a T-top convertible, change the name to Priest of Irock.
God.
Sweet.
Rage of Perforos. 4 colorless, 1 red. Rage of Perforos deals 4 damage to target creature. It can't be regenerated this turn. Scry 1.
So
So
we do have a way of killing 4 toughness creatures.
So-
just that 5. Man.
basically, they decided to make a card that has a 5/5 drop on it and shove a whole bunch of relevant abilities on it.
What?
I don't... What?
What did you just say?
Sort of relevant abilities, like 4
Nate,
damage.
did your brain have a small spasm there?
I think so. I'm thinking so. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
glad
know.
I'm not the only one who had no idea what you just said there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna silently look at this card and move on to the next one.
Chandra's Outrage
It's-
takes this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Here we go. Satyr Rambler. 1 colorless, 1 red, and trample 2/1. So a 2-drop, 2/1 trampler.
Eh.
Hmm.
Crew and Striker had a much more upside, and it wasn't really played a whole lot, was it?
No.
No,
Standard Pauper.
not really.
Yeah, so this guy's just not relevant. Especially now with Elect Trickery in the format.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do we got here? We got Spark Jolt. 1 red mana. Spark Jolt deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Scry 1. So you deal 1 damage, you scry 1 for 1 red mana. I guess it's appropriately has a casting cost for it, but it's 1 damage.
Yeah, I just don't see this being relevant.
No, I don't either. It's kind of I don't like it at all. If it was maybe more than 1 damage, maybe, but
yeah, and the
You
problem
bet.
with like
Yeah, I don't know.
scrying is like you want to use a spark jolt on like turn 1 essentially to kill their 1-drop,
yeah,
and you don't really know what you want to scry on turn 1.
no, not really.
Agreed.
Yeah, not really. Especially if it's scry 1. Now, if this was in reversed and they actually had like they actually did it like deals 1 damage to target creature player scry 2. Maybe it might be more.
How's that reversed?
Well, you just add.
Scry 2.
Sorry, you add scry. You add a point to the scry so you can go too deep and look on turn 1. That would be a little interesting, but even then, I think it's still not good.
Yeah.
So, next one, Spear Point Oreed. Okay, Oreed, whatever. 2 colorless, 1 red. Here's another one of our bestow cards that has like I said, like we were talking earlier. They take a bestow cost and put a relevant ability that red has and put +2/+2 on it. It's bestow for 5 colorless, 1 red. Chant creature gets +2/+2 and has first strike. I don't know. I don't like it, I guess.
We have Slaughter Thug.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, Splatter Thug's better than this, and you're really never paying the bestow cost on this guy.
No.
Yeah.
Because your red deck wins, you don't want to get to 6 mana.
Yeah. Next one, Titan's Strength. Instant speed, target 1 red mana. Target creature gets +3/+1 till end of turn, scry 1.
Stick to the Maka.
Yeah, sticks to the Maka.
I don't know. I kind of like this guy as a lightning bolt with some little upside.
He works with the Crowan.
Works with the Crowan dude.
Works with the Crowan
dude, and red has a lot of first strikers, and so giving you do +3/+1 when they think it's going to kill them, you can kill one of their creatures.
Yeah. So pretty decent. Two-headed Cerberus, 1 colorless, 2 red. It's a hound. Double strike. So our natural double strike creature, 1/2. I think he could be abused.
Yeah, he's the first natural double striker Pauper has ever seen.
Yeah, and I think he could be abused.
Like I said before, throw Madcap skills on him and you have a terror.
Yeah. A 4/2 double striker. That's
Can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures.
no.
Even if they do have the bodies to throw in front of it,
Yeah.
they're going to lose everything.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
You guys are going to think I'm making another joke, but I'm actually being serious here. It really weirds me out that he only has 2 heads.
It's true,
Yeah,
but I guess you can't have everything.
yeah,
That's why they call him a 2-headed Cerberus instead of a 3-headed Cerberus.
yeah,
Or rather just a Cerberus.
yeah. And then we got Wild Celebrants, 3 colorless, 2 red. When Wild Celebrants enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact. So we got a more expensive. What is that? More expensive Vandal.
Manic Vandal?
Yeah.
Manic Vandal.
Another expensive Vandal, and I bet the artwork isn't even as cool as Manic Vandal.
Actually, it's pretty much aping it.
Yeah.
Well, it does have funny flavor text.
What's flavor text?
You can tell something's really valuable by the sound it makes when you slam your staff into it.
Oh, so I see they did go with the Manic. They did go with the Manic Vandal type of artwork, the thing I always liked about Manic Vandal was the fact that he was swinging a bat through like a bunch of beakers.
Just
All right,
to wreck
so-
an antique shop.
Yeah.
What?
F you, chemistry.
So what's Manic Vandal's casting cost?
3?
3.
It's for what, 2/2?
Yeah.
Is it a 2-2? I thought it was like a 2-1.
It's a 2/2.
I'll check.
Because, I mean, this sucker is a 5/3.
I'm just wondering, is this better than Ingot Chewer?
Ingot Chewer actually has the other ability though that makes
Evoke.
Yeah, Evoke, which actually isn't that bad.
It evokes a 3/3, or
Yeah.
I think it chooses a 3/3.
It's a 3/3. I mean, it's like it costs more than that, but it's I don't know. This guy could be good because like if you're playing up as an affinity and you play this guy, you get to kill the Mirror Enforcer and then block Carapace Forger.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ingot sure can't do that.
No, it
Suppose.
can't.
This costs, obviously costs 5 mana. I mean, the format's probably gonna move towards more aggressive decks now with Fissure gone, but I think this guy's actually pretty relevant.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Mess around with
The
them.
only problem I see with it is where red is going. I mean, the only other really big thing we saw was, well, we saw Boulderfall, we saw Borderland Minotaur, and all these really big guys we were all kind of like, meh. So it just might be a point of...
Well, if you look at historically back when Wizards makes red cards, a lot of the red abilities are higher cast abilities. Like in general, like they got higher cast spells compared to the other colors.
Yeah, because they get the versatility of burn spells.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off they make.
Yeah.
That's why Academy Raider from M14 cost 2 in a red for a 1/1 that loots
Oh,
when
that guy
you
is
had the same
yeah.
the same blue creature cost 2 mana for like a 2/1 that loots.
Yeah, that guy's a freaking monster in limited. I don't like him at all.
I don't really play with him. I don't like him limited.
Oh, he's the pain to go against.
Yeah.
It's just a pain. But
So, opinions on red?
I think there's some stuff there, but again, it's like black. It's gonna have to be tested out and played around with before anyone finds decent use for a lot of these cards.
Yeah, I mean, we got our burn spell in Lightning Strike.
Yeah.
We got a couple of interesting creatures that are really aggressive that could fit into a super fast aggressive red strategy.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff that just might need to be... I mean, because I keep thinking about Wild Celebrants. I mean, yeah, it seems like it's expensive, but it is a 5/3. It's
Yeah.
freaking huge for our format.
Yeah, and I guess I personally kind of like a Crone Crusader. Like, out of all the cards in this for red, I kind of like a Crone Crusader because you get a body for enchanting it. And it does enable Battalion to possibly actually be something. So...
Yeah. And Two-Headed Cerberus is going to work really well with all the Blood Rush and Titan
Oh,
Strain.
yeah. Definitely.
So, yeah, I think red got a real good hookup, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. On to green.
Yay. Starting things off, we have Agent of Horizons. For 2 colors and a green, you get a 3/2 human rogue that has pay 2 colors and a blue. Agent of Horizons can't be blocked this turn.
Card's
Oh.
sweet.
It's not bad, actually, and green-blue is
card's
kind of a
sweet.
deck. So throw that in with your like Frilled Oculus and, whatchamacallit, the Beetleform Mage. You might have yourself a deck.
And Cloudfan Raptors and Frostburn Weirds. Yeah, this guy's really good. I like him a lot.
Cool.
Next card we have is Gods. For colorless and green, it's almost Commune with Nature. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card or enchantment card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. Like I said, basically like Commune with Nature, except you can grab an enchantment, but I don't know if it's actually going to have a place for us.
Yeah.
You know, this is a card a lot of people were talking about because it makes green-black Tortured Existence viable. You know, one of the big problems with the Tortured Existence decks is if you don't get your Tortured Existence, then,
The
what
deck
kind of
stops.
deck? You're playing
Yeah.
a very slow deck with bad creatures. But if you get the Tortured Existence deck and get the engine online, well, the Communion with Gods is going to help you do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is pretty relevant.
Should be interesting to test out. The only time I could see this being bad, though, is when you end up putting it in your graveyard.
It's the trade-off you play with a card like that, though. So.
Yeah.
Next card we have is Defend the Hearth. For colorless and green, you have an instant prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to players this turn. I'm pretty sure we still have Fog, so just stick with that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Next-
not even going to defend that one.
No. Next card we have is Fade into Antiquity. For 2 colors and a green, you have Exiled Artifact or Enchantment. Because for some reason you want it completely gone, there you have it, kids. Unfortunately, it's only sorcery speed.
So this is limited because you want to be able to fade into Antiquity the gods who are indestructible.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah.
Next card we have is Feral Invocation, which is 2 colors and a green, Enchantment Aura, Flash, Enchanted Creature, gets +2/+2.
See the flash enchantment? Yeah, flashing enchantment's actually pretty relevant.
It's not bad.
No.
So
Mono green stop it.
if you played any M14 limited, you know that Briarpack Alpha is a really, really good card because it's really not hard to get 2-for-1s out of Briarpack Alpha, and this is pretty much giving you a Briarpack Alpha with an enchantment with a slightly cheaper cost without the body.
Yeah.
It's an expensive combat trick, but if you land it, you eat their dude, you swing back for 4 or 5 damage, it can really turn the tides in your favor. So I like this card a lot. It's really good.
And our next card is Leafground Dryad. For a color and a green, you get it's an enchantment creature. So again with the bestow, so it's 2/2 in reach, and again if you bestow it for 3 colors and a green, +2/+2 and has reach.
The blue one's still better.
So far, thinking the blue one's probably the best one, and I think we still have, Deadly Recluse in 14?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
stick with the Recluse.
I don't know. He's a bear. This guy's a bear with upside.
That is true, though.
Yeah.
A lot of these enchantments are like just for basically breaking stalemates. That's where I'm going to use them at in standard Pauper. Is like you bestow this dude and you break a stalemate by swinging through with a bigger than theirs creature that they have to double block, and then you get a creature back.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Next card is Nescent Asp. For 4 colors and a green, you have a 4/5 reach with Monstrosity 4 for 7. Or 6 and a green. So,
I think this is a dead ability. I am not liking it in common.
well,
level.
it's because most of them don't have anything that happens when they do when they go monstrous.
Yeah.
They just get bigger. And unfortunately, like most things at the common level, it gets up-priced a lot for its ability, so...
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nescient Asp is now the biggest possible creature in Pauper. Just as a card on its own.
Yeah, 8/9.
Yep. beats out Ulamog's Crusher.
We have a winner, kids! Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
so he's 5 mana for a 4/5, which isn't bad on its own. Right? You can pretty much swing into anything, and you can pretty much block anything.
And he has reach.
And then he also has reach, very relevant, and then he becomes the biggest freaking creature in Pauper.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I need
yeah.
a new Kindercatch from a Kindercatch deck, so I guess he'll fill that slot. Oh, I'm not joking. I actually have one. You just throw the mana dorks in, and you turn 3 one of these guys out, and eventually, like, you have the mana for it. Turn 4 him to monsters. There's almost nothing in the form that can kill him now that like Victim of Night's gone.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on to our next card, Nessun Corsair, which is a reprint, 2 colors and a green, 3/3. Don't doubt the power of a 3/3 vanilla for 3, but we do have better cards for that, so probably not.
Yeah, Centaur Healer beats this guy out.
And you have a 4 mana 4/4 too, I believe. So if you're looking for the vanilla beats, just go with him instead.
Yeah.
It just makes me miss the Future Sight art of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Future Sight artwork is really good.
Oh.
That and the frame is cool.
Poor Chris.
As for our next card, the heck was
Go ahead.
that?
That was me laughing.
Yeah.
Nila's Disciple. For 2 colors and 2 green, we have a 3/3 Centaur Archer. When Nila's Disciple enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green.
No.
Just stick to Centaur Healer. It's the better Centaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Next card is Nila's Presence. For a color and a green, you have Enchant Land. When a Nila's Presence enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted Land is every basic land type in addition to its other types. So it's kind of what the new Abundant Growth. Since that's
Yeah,
leaving.
it's kind of abundant growth.
It's kind of a trap.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people are like sort of brewing with this because it makes like Wild Nicodle playable and, well, I wouldn't say playable, but much better in Classic Pauper.
This is going to be used in slivers.
So what this does though is it's like lush growth, but
All
it
five
actually
colors.
draws you a card. Lush growth doesn't draw you a card.
It's true.
Yeah, I can see someone throwing this in slivers too, though.
Standard, maybe. I don't know.
For standard, just because you get to draw a card, and that was the big thing with right now. The other one does the abundant growth. You can go one drop if you don't have if you have a hand of 2-drop slivers, you can go abundant growth, draw a card, and it'll just replace itself and go one deeper into your library. So,
anyways, next card, Ferris Band Centaurs. For 4 colors and a green, you get a 3/7 vanilla creature.
5.
Nope. I said 4 colors and a green.
Yeah. No.
I'm kind of over the bullshit centaurs at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
He's no seahorse.
No, he's no
Horse?
Seabiscuit.
You mean horsefish?
Horsefish, my bad.
No horsefish.
Whoa.
You can't diss the horsefish.
No.
That's offensive.
We might have to like demote you to a promotional member of the cast again, Peter.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's just
This
a
is coming
seahorse.
from the-
Easy. They prefer to be called horsefishes.
Yes. Horsefish.
My bad. I didn't realize I was using this racial slur. I'll correct myself.
Yeah.
Telling you, there's still no horse bat, so...
But our next card is Satyr Hedonist. For colors and a green, you get a 2/1 Satyr, where if you pay red, you sacrifice him and add 3 red to your mana pool. I don't see a reason for him in standard, so
Not with Storm going away.
yeah, so no classic, no standard, no nothing right now.
He ramps.
He does, but what are we ramping into?
Yeah.
So then
Nessie and Asp.
the ass probably. God, I'm gonna
Touche.
throw that thing
Can
together.
you imagine playing a Nessie and Asp on turn 3 after you bash them for 2? Because you can attack with this Hedonist. You don't have to tap him to do the ritual. You bash for 2. You do the ritual. You play the Asp, and your opponent's like, "How do I even deal with that?" It's turn 3.
And we still have Rubble Belt Maka and
Yeah.
whatever the green one that we were using. There might be potential.
You really are. As I say, you were starting to really convince me to bring back my stupid Kindercatch deck. Goddamn.
Do it.
Do it.
Sorry.
It's fun because I was like, it's a bad card until they go, how do I take care of this thing? You're like, you don't. That's the reason.
You tell me it's bad again while I beat you.
Pretty much.
Then, what's the next card?
Savage Surge. For colors and a green, you get target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Untap that creature. So green combat tricks, but it does let you block with a former attacker, so it's not bad. But I don't want to say it's great.
Boo.
Yeah.
I think this is in Return to Ravnica, and it like sucked in limited. So
No,
if a card sucks in limited, it says a lot.
fair enough. Next card.
It was an
we have is-
uncommon in Ravnik. Not only did it suck before, but it was an uncommon. And they demoted it. They demoted its ass.
Let's get rid of it.
Next card is Sedge Scorpion. For a green, you get a 1/1 Scorpion that's Depth Touch. So Typhoid Rats in green.
Sweet. I like Typhoid Rats.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
something you wouldn't necessarily see coming.
no, this is pretty sweet because the place I can see him is Classic Pauper, the blue-green Death Touch deck.
Yeah. Pretty relevant with Viridian Crossbow. Or Viridian Bow.
Yeah, Viridian Longbow.
Viridian Longbow.
Yep.
Just pass the bow down the line,
Such a
attacking and
dirty,
killing everything off.
just a dirty play.
Fun. That's an interesting one. Shredding Winds. 2 colors and a green. Instant Shredding Winds deals 7 damage to target creature with flying.
No.
No.
Shredded wheat.
No, we have
Sorry,
Plummet.
reputation.
We have Plummet, so
Yeah, we plummet.
Yeah.
yeah, no.
And that's not even that good of a card either.
Next card, Staunch-Hearted Warrior. For 3 colors in green, you get a 2/2 human warrior with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Staunch-Hearted Warrior, put 2+1/+1 counters on Staunch-Hearted Warrior.
No.
No.
I'm sorry. I'd rather play a Rumbling Baloth than this guy. I guess I should... Because this guy actually requires work to be a 4/4, and the Rumbling Baloth, you just play me as a 4/4. He's like, I don't even care, I'm a Baloth.
Exactly. Almost like the only time I can see him decent is if you get the buff spells you need in Green Stompy for standard, but Green Stompy just has better choices.
Yeah.
Anyways, time to feed. For 2 colors and a green, you get a sorcery, choose target creature an opponent controls. When that creature dies this turn, you gain 3 life. Target creature you control fights that creature.
Kinder catch. Time to feed.
Snatch them babies, Kindercatcher. Go to town.
So the gain 3 life is not relevant.
No.
So...
Prey upon.
Well, there's no Prey Upon left in Standard Pauper,
I
but...
thought it got reprinted in...
No, you just have Pit
Or is
Fight,
that-
whatever the heck it's called.
So you have Pit Fight, which is an instant and far better. And
Yeah.
then you have Hunt the Weak, which is 4 mana, but you get a +1/+1 counter on your dude.
Doesn't it only fight a green creature, though?
No. Hunt the Weak fights anything.
Oh, I was thinking of something else. Oh, no, I was thinking of the other... That's an uncommon one. In Theros,
Yeah.
each color has their own self-hating card. I forgot about that.
Self-hating.
Well, like, blue has Gainsay, so destroy or counter target blue spell. White's got Heresy or something like that, so exile target white card. Black destroys another black creature. Green fights another green creature. Red blows up a mountain. And I think I got all of them.
I just like the terminology of self-hating
Hey,
card.
they're called emo, okay?
Yeah.
And our next card is Voyaging Satyr. For a colorless and a green, you get a Satyr Druid. That's a 1/2 that taps untapped target land. Because we're losing Arbor Druid, or Arbor Elf, we get to diff this guy instead.
No, I think Elvish Mystic replaced Arbor Elf.
Yeah. Well, this does untap anything.
Yeah, but what are you really untapping?
But it's
You're
a
target land.
two
You're
drop.
untapped a land.
Yeah, but it's
So-
2 drop, so.
Yeah, Elvish Mystic is pretty much worse.
Better.
Or better,
It's
rather.
like,
So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, 1 mana. One. Mana Dork? Worse? No. But still.
I mean, this guy can untap any land, so you get like double red or something if you need it, but... I think I'd rather play the Gate Crash guy that untaps than...
Gate.
The gate.
Yeah, he untaps the Gate, but, I mean, if I'm playing a 2-color deck, I'm probably playing Gates, and I'd rather
Yeah.
have the 2/1 for 2 than the 1/2 for 2.
Yeah.
We'll see. Next, and then our last card for green, we have Vulpine Goliath. 4 colors and 2 green. You get a 6/5 trampoline fox.
It is an angry
It's a
fox.
huge-ass fox.
It is a very angry fox. He's big.
So is this the fox that's in the picture for Enlarge in M14?
I don't know.
It might be. He looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it has cool flavor text. With the diet of hydras, giants, and massive serpents, anything could get that big. Anything would get that big.
first of all, the creature in M14 is obviously a kitty cat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A kitty cat.
Chris would know he's done his research for his Lolcats deck.
Yes, he's done cat research.
Well, it's an uncommon, so it didn't make the cut.
Oh,
But
sorry to hear that.
giant fox, 6/5 for 6.
No.
That's a really big guy. It's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And he's got the trample. So even if they do throw
He's got these damn kids with the trample.
cards thinking they're so good, but they don't have it, and this guy's flaunting it. That's the big thing. Like, yeah, you can't just throw guys under the bus in front of him because he's just going to walk over them.
Yeah.
So the fox is driving a bus now. What are we talking about? What do you think about? What do you think about green?
Not bad, but not exactly thrilling. It's got stuff. Commune with the Gods seems interesting. Agent of Horizons is good. And then we have the new introduction of Nessun Ash as the Titan of Pauper. But
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
green's. I like green. Green's
Green,
sweet.
green does what green does.
Yeah.
Sedge
It's
Scorpion.
good.
Big
Sedge
fatties that
Scorpion
just
has
stomp
potential.
face. Yeah.
I mean, think about Sedge Scorpion versus something like Hornet Sting. It's kind of interesting to think that. I mean, that's a huge deterrent, having just a 1/1 death touch. Because
Yeah.
you get that down turn 1, you basically, your opponent is like, sweet, I kept this awesome curve. I'm gonna just
You're
curve
gonna run
out
over
with
'em.
dudes, and then all of a sudden it's like death touch. Oh crap! What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Hold the phone.
It can take it can take a giant fox down.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anyone who's been on the opposing end of that, the rat, the death touch rat, knows that that's just takes the wind right out of your sails. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool to see green get something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really hard to attack into a deadly recluse. So, and you get another basically deadly recluse out of this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off, we have Bronze Sable. For 2 colorless, you get a 2/1 artifact creature satyr. No.
Yeah, no.
It's not even a sliver. Come on.
Just make it a colorless bear and we might think about it, but even
Yeah.
that's going too far. Next one we have Flamecast Wheel. 1 colorless, artifact, 5 mana, tap, sacrifice Flamecast Wheel. Flamecast Wheel deals 3 damage to target creature.
that a
Way too
common?
damn spendy.
Is that a
It's
common?
common. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an uncommon.
That's
What?
I was saying, look at the picture here, and it's
Oh, it is uncommon.
Gathering has it
Never
never
mind.
common. Never mind. Don't play
Should
it.
be the way it's costed, but
Yeah, it's not legal. Oh, what's next?
next one is Fleet Feather Sandals. 2 colorless, equipment artifact. Equipped creature has flying and haste and equipped cost of 2.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
It's not a bone splitter. We don't talk about it. Next one, Guardians of Militis. 3 colorless for an artifact creature golem. Defender, 0/6. They really like pushing the whole hold down the fort creatures in this set, it seems.
Yeah, they did it
Yeah.
in M14 too, but M14 actually had decent creatures attached to 3 mana.
Yeah.
So.
Burn.
Pretty much. Next card, Opaline Unicorn. For 3 colorless, artifact creature Unicorn, you get a 1/2 Manalith.
It's
So
a bird.
tap, add 1 mana to have any card to your mana pool. It's closer to Manalith because of the 3
Yeah.
cost artifact.
That'll go get in 5-color Scuttlemutt.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'd rather have this effect on a Darksteel Ingot. Wait, is Darksteel Ingot common?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the problem with this dude is they can shock him and prevent you from ramping.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But he's a unicorn. He's beautiful and should be loved.
Still ain't no horse bed.
queer.
Ouch. Anyways, got into our last artifact. We have Traveler's Amulet.
Yeah, we all know what it does.
It's the same thing. 1 drop in, pay 1 sack, find your basic land, reveal it and put it into your hand.
Yep, and then we've got Unknown Shores, which is another shimmering grotto. Congrats.
Yep. Functional reprint Shimmering Grotto.
Yeah. That's it. So what do we think of the set as a whole?
It's definitely got some stuff.
Yeah.
I think Blue probably was the best.
Yeah.
But
I think blue wins.
I think black and green definitely got some stuff that could be classic Pauper playable, which speaks a lot to the power level here of the set. And the way that the Theros block is going to go, Theros is the large set, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to go large, big, little. I think this one are just going to go, they're going back to the normal big, little, big.
big little medium is what it usually is. But yeah, so like 250 was in this set, and then it should be like, what is it, 180 or something in the next.
Yeah.
Standard numbers.
Yeah. The reason I make that reference is because Return to Ravnica was the last big block that we had. I mean, Return to Ravnica Gate Crash. And Return to Ravnica showed us basically Frostburn Weird as the classic Pauper playable card. And then Gate Crash has effectively shown us nothing.
Yeah.
Except for a few fringe playables. But I'm looking at a couple of these cards here, and I mean, I see 5 or 6 classic playable cards.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, you mentioned Dead Dog, a few Dead Dog playable cards, which I actually kind of find interesting. So
Yeah. Like go.
We got go. We got that 1-2 punch of the ban list and the new set, so
Yeah.
it'll just be interesting to see what comes out. But I agree that I mean, it seemed like for the past few sets, the one especially, granted I'm biased, but Black got nothing
No,
in,
it
in
really
these
didn't.
past couple of sets for for standard or classic, and so it's kind of interesting to see that kind of come around again to get some stuff to work with. And the blue is interesting as well because they do lose Ghostly Flicker, but they're getting some great stuff back in Mnemonic Wall and a couple of these other ones.
yeah.
Omen Speaker. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Red kind of had the standard stuff that Red usually gets from the first set of a block, and Green will be interesting. I mean, I really like the Sedge Scorpion. Some of these are pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much. I know what we hit. We're not doing Heroes of the Web this week because this took. It's a set review, obviously. So we
2
always,
hours.
we kind of always push everything aside for a set review. So, if anyone has anything they want to say before we sign off,
I don't think so.
No?
nothing.
Nope.
All right, then this has been Pauper of the People. We look forward to doing the show next week with hopefully some more info and some more interesting stuff. But I'm Nate.
This is Peter.
Chris? Where'd Chris go?
Chris
He's
1.0
the fourth,
first.
let's say.
Chris 1.0? Oh, you want Chris 1.0 first? Okay.
What? Okay. This is Chris.
And the other Chris.
And this is Pauper to the People.
Pauper to the people.
It's-
Gotta edit that in. Gotta make
Yeah.
sure.
Well, end recording.
It's in.